This is the beautiful 58-year-old Hazel. When Hazel came into my studio, I had one goal in mind and one goal in mind only, and that was to transform her into an ultra glamorous, event ready, but still comfortable version of herself using some of my face transforming makeup tips. Today, I'm very excited to be sharing them with you. A very special thank you to Dalba for sponsoring a part of this video. Let's go. Tip number 1 is to prioritize your skin prep. I have said it once, or maybe 30 times, and I will say it again. I'll say it again and again and again, okay? The most important part of any makeup application is skin prep. When the skin lacks hydration and suppleness, putting foundation and concealer on top of it will actually make the skin look worse than not putting foundation or concealer on at all. And I've heard that from so many different clients. My foundation always looks worse than not wearing foundation. My concealer looks worse than not wearing concealer at all. Guys, that's a skin prep issue 100%. We won't get too into the whole exfoliating thing. You definitely want to exfoliate, once or twice a week. But beyond exfoliation, I'm just gonna assume we're all doing that. You also want to make sure that you have a lot of hydration. The first thing I used on Hazel today was the First Spray Serum by Dalba. Now, this product is made with white truffle, which is Dalba's signature ingredient. It's what everyone talks about when they mention Dalba products. And the reason people talk about it so much is because it's actually a natural antioxidant and it gives off this truffle glow. And you can see that immediately when you spritz it on your face. The product itself is dual phased. So you have your layer that's made up of plant-derived oils, and then you have your layer that's the white truffle serum. Okay, so to apply it, you just shake it to mix the layers and then you spray, and you'll instantly notice the glow that you get from the hydration of this product, okay? Not to make this about me. I don't wanna make this about me, but I've been using this on myself to test it in the morning for about 3 weeks now. And I've been using it on all of my clients that have come into the studio as well. And the glow and hydration that it gives is unreal. It's like nothing else, okay? There is definitely a reason why this is the #1 facial mist sold on Amazon and why everyone is talking about it. It's amazing. It's a beautiful product. The second product I use to prep Hazel's skin is the customizable serum and cream. Again, I've never seen anything quite like this. When you open it up, there are actually 2 components here. There's the aqua serum, which is lightweight, and then there's the intense cream, which is more rich, okay? So it gives that extra moisture and nutrition. Now, because you have both of these, you can customize it to create the best ratio for your skin type. It's great because in the winter, when your skin is more dry, you can use more of the cream and less of the gel. When it's super hot and humid, you can use more of the gel and less of the cream. I've also been using this product, okay, on myself for the last few weeks, and I've noticed my own skin looking so much better. The flakiness that I usually get from using my tretinoin at night, I love my tretinoin, but the flakiness that I usually get from using it, it's totally improved. My skin barrier looks so healthy. There's so much hydration and moisture, and you can really see that in my skin now. So if you're looking for something to help with skin elasticity and all those other things, right? Hydration issues, flakiness, and you're looking for something that you can customize for the summer months or for when your skin needs different things, then try this out. Seriously, it's great. So I'm gonna leave a link to everything if you guys wanna check it out in the description box below, as I always do. Tip number 2 is to do your eye makeup first to avoid any shadow from falling and ruining the rest of the look. There is nothing worse than doing your foundation, your concealer, your powder, then applying eyeshadow and having everything underneath stained, right? It's the worst, it's the worst. So in order to get around that, do the eyes first. And if you wanna take it one step further, you can even use a treatment mask under the eyes to plump up the under eye skin while simultaneously acting as a shadow guard to collect that shadow that is falling out. Tip number 3 is to prep the eyelids. You don't wanna apply eyeshadow directly on the eyelid skin because the natural oils from your lids will lead to creasing, and it'll also make your shadow disappear very quickly. So there are 2 things you can do to prep the lids. You can apply concealer from the lash line all the way up to the brow bone and then set it with a powder, or you can actually use an eyelid primer. You can buy an eyelid primer. Today I opted to use an eyelid primer only because it was an event look and I really wanted it to last for like 12+ hours. And I do find that a primer makes the shadow last longer. But one thing to note is that even if you do get an eyelid primer, this is a mistake I've seen people make a lot recently. even if you do get an eyelid primer, you still need to set it. Okay, you still need to set it with a powder or it's going to be too sticky and hard to blend on top of, and it will also not last as long. So whether you use concealer or a primer, set it with a powder and then you're all set to move into the eyeshadow. Then what we always do is we have to set that with a powder. If we don't set it with a powder, it gets too sticky and then it's very hard to blend the shadows on top. So I am using the Givenchy Prisme Libre. This is the best powder ever. It's my favorite powder. Works amazingly well on more mature skin. It's not too dry or crepey. And it's that perfect amount of matte meets luminosity, which kind of leaves that perfect finish on the skin. Not too drying, not too glowy. Now, tip number 4 is to not be afraid of using eyeshadow because eyeshadow can transform the way your eyes look. Okay, today I'm gonna show you a very classic eyeshadow look that works on every single eye shape and on every age group. Okay, I'm not kidding, from 20 to 90, this will work on you, okay? The palette that I'm using today is by Natasha Denona. It's the I Need a Nude palette. This is an expensive palette, but it is incredible. It has beautiful, very wearable colors. So if you're looking to invest in a palette that you will wear a lot, this is definitely a good one to invest in. It's my favorite current palette. It's my very favorite one that I own right now. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're starting with our transition shade first. And the transition shade is a mid-tone matte shade that goes on the crease using a windshield wiper motion and a fluffy crease brush. The shade that I picked today was the color Stone. Okay, so I'm just pressing that color into the crease and I'm using windshield wiper motions to buff it in, kind of staying on the outer third of the eye. And this is called a transition color. So the transition color is the color that melts all the other colors together. I like sweeping into the lash line and right up into the crease. After that, you can go in with a light neutral lid color and a flat brush. The color that I chose today was the color Fair. That combination of the mid-tone crease with a light lid really brightens and opens up the eye. Okay, now the next step is optional, but if you want to add drama to the eye and smoke it out for evening, you can go in with a small crease brush. So it's just a regular crease brush, but tiny. Okay, this one is number 13 by Rephyr, and you can use a deeper color to carve out a sideways V on the outside of the eye. This color is Silhouette that I'm using. One thing to note is that if you have deeper set eyes, make sure that when you do this step, you also open your eyes and look straight into the mirror while you're doing it. If you don't do that, sometimes the smoke won't be visible when you open your eyes because your crease will hide it, okay? In that case, it's a good idea to actually go a little bit higher than your crease because you don't want it to completely disappear when you open your eyes. Now, if you want to leave it matte, you can leave it matte. Or you can add glow to the lid with shimmer shadows, right? Which are just light reflecting shadows. I think adding highlight to the lid looks beautiful, and I knew that it would look really incredible on Hazel. So for my bonus eyeshadow step, okay, optional bonus step, I always do it, but you don't have to. I went in with the color Whisper. Okay, the best way to apply a shimmer is by pressing it onto the lid with a flat brush or with your fingers. The number 12 brush by Rephyr works really well for this, but you will actually just get the best pigment payoff if you use your fingertips. So that's why I went between brush and fingers, right? I applied it with the brush and then I pressed it into the lid with my fingers. That's the best way to get that really poppy, you know, shimmery, reflective look on the lids, which is just a really beautiful look. As a final step, I used a nice rich brown eyeliner to define the lash line, and I went over that with a pencil brush just to smoke out the lash line and create a softer effect overall. So for your eye shape, because you have heaviness here, we don't want to do a wing or else it will get kind of cut off in this area.
Okay.
A lot of people ask questions if we should wing or not wing. I wouldn't for you because this will interfere with your wing. See?
My brow bone?
Your brow bone, because you have like a strong brow bone. So I would just end it right at the lash line. Okay, now we can move on to the base. So tip number 5 is to apply foundation using the correct application tool. I see so many women apply foundation with their fingers. And that's not always wrong, okay? But if you're using a formula that is more viscous or denser than like a tinted moisturizer, it's not gonna give you the finish that you're after. I recently did a video on different foundation formulas and the best application tool to pair with each formula, you know, whether that's a sponge, a brush, or fingers. I'll leave that video pinned in the pinned comments below for you guys in case you wanna watch it after. It will take the mystery away, okay? I really simplified application tools versus formula in that video. For Hazel today, I decided to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and I used 2 brushes from Rephyr to blend it out seamlessly. I used brush number 5, which is actually made for blush, okay? But it works so well for foundation application. And I used brush number 36, which is actually an eyeshadow brush made for hooded eyes, but works perfectly for concealer. It's the perfect concealer brush. I like using number 36 to detail the small areas, and I like using number 5 to buff out the entire face. If you haven't heard of these brushes, they're actually handmade in Japan, and they are very special. They really are like little works of art. It's like owning a little work of art. It's beautiful. I'll leave all the ones that I used in this video linked in the description box for you. It's one of my favorite brush lines right now. BK Beauty and Rephyr, oh my goodness. They have phenomenal brushes. And again, don't get stuck just using it for what it's supposed to be used for, right? Think about the shape of it. Think about the density. Think about the effect you're going for. Makeup really is art. So use makeup brushes like an artist uses their paint brushes, right? Use it for the effect that you want, not necessarily what it's for.
So soft on the skin. There are no bristles or anything. It feels like you're putting a sponge on my face.
Isn't it amazing? They're so unique. I've never seen anything like it. It's a very, very special brush line. I love makeup brushes, but I've owned hundreds, and I own hundreds. It's like an addiction. I've never seen a makeup brush like the Rephyr brushes. They're so different.
Tip number 6 is to be very strategic in how you apply concealer and which concealer you use, okay? So for the concealer today, I use the Jane Iredale one.
And you're gonna apply it in that hollow zone, which is usually here. And you're gonna go down the nose a little bit and into here, just like that. Now, because there's a lot of movement in here and in here, we want as little product on here as possible, or else it's gonna start settling in the lines. Because cream products like to go into creases. It's very natural. So what you wanna do is you just wanna stipple that product and shear it out, but build up the coverage in any of the areas that has darkness. Comes to concealer as well. The formula is everything when we get older. If you use a formula that's too full coverage and too matte, you will look like 10 years older. It's crazy. The concealer will make you look worse than without it. So you need something very creamy and hydrating, but it can't be too creamy that it falls into all the crevices. So my favorite ones for that are this one. Jane Iredale does a really good job of it. Haus Labs. So Lady Gaga's brand, they have a really good concealer for offsetting darkness on older skin. And those are my 2 favorites, I would say.
Tip number 7 is to warm up your face and balance out your features with a cream contour.
So this is just adding a little bit of shadow to the face. Whenever we look at a face, we want to kind of balance out dimensions that are like off balance. So we always try to like create an oval face wherever we can. It's kind of stupid if you think about it because other face shapes are beautiful. But to our eye, if we can oval out the face, it becomes more like aesthetically pleasing. So for you, what I would do is add a little bit of shadow in here just to kind of balance and blend this out. Now, the reason I'm using a cream is because I find cream products look a lot more natural. See how we've kind of rounded out your forehead there? Because you said you have dry skin as well, we want to prioritize cream wherever we can because powder products will dry skin out more.
I was expecting to see all those lines all over my face. You know, so I look at videos and they've got like 25 lines of dark.
I know, that's how people do it online to look fancy. Turn this way for me. But the problem with doing it that way is it's so hard to blend. It's almost like I feel like sometimes people just do that for the show.
Oh, okay.
You know, but then when you're really wanting to apply precision shadowing, you don't need to go so heavy. When it comes to any makeup application, especially when you're looking for long wear, you want to do very fine layers and build it up subtly. So there isn't all this product that can crease and get cakey and look patchy and just become like way too much.
Definitely an art.
Yeah. Once you get used to it, it gets easier and easier and easier.
Moving along to brows. So Hazel has the perfect brows, okay? She got them tinted the day before and they were flawless. Super well groomed, the perfect shape. So all I did was just apply some of the Kosas brow gel to keep them in place all day long. The current brows, the brows of today aren't overdone. They're not over defined. They're not over powdered. They really are natural. And I'm loving that trend. You can literally see in history where we are based on how people's brows look. And today's current trend is probably my favorite brow trend ever that I've ever lived through. So I'm trying very hard, you know, even with my brows, not to overdo them. I've let my brows pretty much grow in completely, but I'm trying very hard to leave them natural and soft, even though it kind of goes against what we were taught as makeup artists. You know, if we grew up in the 90s and we're working in the 2000s, you know what I mean? Like, natural brows are beautiful. They're very flattering. So that's exactly what I did with Hazel today. I just kept them natural. Groomed, they were already well groomed, but natural. Tip number 8 is to add a pop of color to the cheek, okay? Not wearing blush is one of the biggest makeup mistakes I see being made in this age demographic. Blush is so rejuvenating to the face, especially cream blush, okay? So with Rephyr Brush number 24, I swirled on this cream blush by OG. I applied it to the back of my hands to make sure the bristles were evenly coated. And then I applied it to the upper cheekbone area of the face, like right up in here to really lift and pull her face up. Before we move on to the next step, I actually want to go back and talk about under eye concealer. Okay, so you may have noticed that I didn't set the concealer right away. I actually gave it some time to dry down and do what it was going to do. And what does concealer do? Concealer creases, right? Concealer creases. If you don't set your concealer, it's gonna crease, but you don't wanna set it immediately either, because if you do, you can actually run the risk of it getting a little bit gummy. So another tip I have for you guys is to apply your concealer, and then when you're finished everything else, right? So, you know, 5-10 minutes has passed, go back to smooth out the creases and then set it lightly with a very finely milled powder. In today's application, I used my favorite current powder ever. It's the Givenchy Prisme Libre setting powder. And I used like a nice fluffy dome-shaped brush to apply that. That, you know, deposits just the right amount of powder to set, but not so much that it over dries the under eyes. Tip number 9 is now to add that same transition color from before into the lower lash line to define the eyes, but also hide darkness in areas that are a little too creasy to apply concealer to.
I find adding a little bit of shading under the eyes to be really, really flattering on most people. It also, if you have a little darkness under the eyes and you don't want to use concealer there because there's too much movement, it actually hides the darkness because it looks intentional.
To finish off the eyes, I just applied mascara to the top and the bottom, and now we can move on to tip number 10. So tip number 10 is to define the vermilion ridge of the mouth with a lip liner. Guys, if you've been around here for a while, I know you're probably laughing and also annoyed at the same tip that I give every single damn video because I love lip liners so much. I'm gonna say it again, okay? This is probably the most underused makeup product that gives the biggest impact on mature skin because it not only defines the lip shape and creates a much fuller, more youthful looking mouth, but it also prevents your lipsticks and glosses from bleeding into the fine lines, okay? The number one reason to use it. Not only does it give you the lip shape that you had, you know, 10, 20 years ago, it also stops your lip color from bleeding, which is amazing, right?
Lining your lips makes your lips look so amazing. It also keeps all of the lipsticks from bleeding. You also have a really beautiful mouth. And I know you said your favorite feature is your smile, and I agree. You have like a really beautiful mouth. You have a beautiful mouth shape. So we're just gonna bring loads of attention to it since it's one of your best features.
What kind of lip liner is that?
This one's Makeup by Mario. This is my favorite lip liner. This one's called Smoky Pink.
I finished off her lips with a blush nude tone called Southside by Makeup by Mario. It's a beautiful, beautiful lipstick. If you're looking for that perfect light nude and you have, you know, a medium to light medium skin tone, this will be a beautiful color for you. Finally, I have one more bonus tip. I feel like my 10 tips quickly turned into like 35 tips, but we're gonna go with it, okay? My bonus tip is to utilize this eye-opening trick that so many makeup artists utilize.
Wanna know a trick? Okay, there's this brand called Swede, and they have this pencil called Bright. So if you want your eyes to look bigger, you can apply this pencil, look up for me, right in the waterline, just at the bottom. And it's not a harsh white, it just opens up the eyes a bit. So your eyes, if you look straight, see how the one eye looks so big compared to the other eye?
I'll pass me that little mirror.
Yeah, you're like, I can't see a thing.
Oh my, yeah.
Right? So it's like a little makeup trick that a lot of people do for opening.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
At the very end of the look, I added just a couple of clusters of individual lashes to the outer corner of the eyes to elevate it for evening without it feeling heavy. Okay, a strip lash would have probably felt very heavy for her, but adding individual lashes basically densifies the lash line without the heaviness. I know there is a huge request, like a huge request for a lash video, and I promise it's coming soon. I've been promising it for a year, but I promise it's gonna come. It's a beast of a video to make, you guys, and I really wanna make it properly. I've been working on it, okay? So please subscribe if you haven't yet. Stay tuned for that. That is definitely gonna come out this summer, okay? I know you want it, it's coming, I promise. Here is our finished look. This is what Hazel looked like when she came into the studio with her own makeup on. This is what she looks like with no makeup on. And this is how she looks after I gave her a glam transformation. My goal is always to help people see the beauty that they have on the inside, on the outside. And I think Hazel definitely saw that today.
Oh, I love it so much. Dance the night away. Oh, that's great.
Now, before you go, I have something for you guys to do, okay? I want you to go and support Hazel because she has goals to be a content creator herself. And I really think she's actually gonna be incredible at it. You can find her on Instagram here, and she started her own channel as well called Hazy's Place. So I'm gonna leave links to her socials pinned in the comment section below as well. This video's over.